Everybody. Uh, Today we're going to start. It's a little bit dark right now, but today we're going to start with getting prepared to waterproof the shower. Right now we have it just framed, just like you've seen in the last video. The electrical's already run, so I don't have to get behind it anymore. We're going to be using Schluter products. We're going to get more into that in future videos here and the ones ahead. But I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on cutting the hole in the subfloor. So remember, we have to cut a hole in the wood subfloor as well as the flooring, the metal frame of the van. You have to be very careful to not hit one of the beams that's below it, which I've already measured and checked it out, and we're going to miss the beam just barely right there. So we want our drain to be exact center of this bathroom or the shower. You can make it anywhere you want. You can make it over here or to the right. This product that we're using for the shower pan allows you to cut and kind of design the way you want it to, where you want it to drain, if you want it to drain from the front or the back of the shower. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to mark off a 4.5-inch hole. Make sure you double check. There's kind of no going back and really fixing this with ease. So I'm going to go ahead and use my drill to drill a pilot hole, and then I'm going to use the jigsaw, and I'm going to cut that hole out. Then I'm going to use a hole saw, and this is the drain component, the Schluter. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but since I'm going to mess with it right now. Kerdi Drain Flange by Schluter. So the 4.5, you can see, obviously this is the 4.5, and 5 inches is the maximum. So you can go between 4.5 and 5 inches. This is the threshold right here, the margin. And then below that, this is going to go through the metal, this portion. So we're going to first do 4.5-inch hole in the subfloor, take out all the insulation that's below that, and then we're going to use a hole saw and we're going to cut the size of this out in the frame of the van. I'll see you in the next video. Okay guys, just to give you an update, I cut the 4.5-inch hole with a jigsaw, and now I'm using a 3-inch spider hole saw to cut the hole. You can see the white tank that's below. There it is. I'm gonna finish. Just some advice is that this piece gets steaming hot, and if it's too hot and it lands on the top of your water tank, it may melt the top of the water tank. So definitely right before it's about to completely fall off, let it cool down for a few minutes. Touch it with your finger, make sure it's not too hot, and then you can finish it so it doesn't cause any damage to the water tank. Anyway, see you in the next video. Okay guys, so I'm working with the Kerdi Board Schluter shower niche, this is a 14 by 14, I believe. I went ahead and framed so it perfectly fits right here. 12 by 12, sorry. Leaving an edge, of course, because obviously we're going to be putting walls up. You're also going to want to get a bunch of these, depending on how big your shower is. This is the Kerdi Board screws, which come with little washers and wood screws. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that now. Hey guys, so I'm just cutting the first Kerdi board for the back wall. This is a damaged piece I found at Lowe's, damaged only on one side. I was able to get 50% off. This is very expensive material. This is close to $115, $120 with tax. They were able to give it to me for $60. I only need from this line over, so the sidewalls, I'm going to be using the smaller pieces here. But anyway, right now I'm just marked off my line and I'm cutting it with a razor blade, and that's pretty much it. The niche, whatever you want to call it, is going to go around the center. I'll show you how I'm going to frame for that here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece now. Okay, so right now we're finishing up the Thinsulate. There's a lot of open gaps here that we wanted to fill in for more insulation, so doing that right now. Going to fill this in with Thinsulate and this part as well, and it's a snug fit for the niche. That's what it looks like. The screws with washers that it comes with, they have to be no more than 12 inches apart. I'm actually going to draw on the Kerdi board where all these boards are and mark where those holes approximately are, because obviously I don't want to hit one of the holes and it not attach to the frame. So just to clarify, I think I said something wrong in the last video, but I don't want to redo the video. For your studs, they can't be more than 16 inches or you'll have to place an additional stud. So obviously here I'm going to have to put in another stud here, although it's not 16 inches from here to here, but I'm going to just put one in there anyway because it's easy to do. So okay, so got the first pieces of Kerdi. Just want to let you know I decided to go 6 inches apart, or close to 6 inches, just for added measure instead of 12 inches, because this is a moving vehicle. From here to here is 16.5 inches. The max you can go is 16 inches. I doubt a half an inch there is going to make any difference. And from there to there is 16. So these are 16-inch studs. Obviously it's going to be a lot closer going upward with the other studs, and I still haven't finished this portion here because we don't know what shower head or shower system we're going with. I'll have to put another stud. Actually, they're not called studs when they go left and right. They're called fire blocks. So fire blocks this way, studs are when they go up and down, and studs should be 16 inches apart. Again, recommended Kerdi board screw and washer is supposed to be no more than, or recommended to be 12 inches apart. I did 6 inches apart. Unless it's a stud, then you can go as far as 16 inches, but no more than 16 inches. I'll show you in the next video going upward. Oh, and this is all Thinsulate coming right to the edge here. We're still going to put some Thinsulate right here as well, and back in here. Okay. I had to put 2 more fire blocks there because I forgot to cut around the niche. So anyway, not a big deal. I filled, my wife filled all this up with the Thinsulate. All of this is 3 layers because this is the in framing layer, and then in the walls is 2 more layers, so there's a lot of Thinsulate here. And this is that piece that's going to go up. Remember from the first video, framing, there's a curvature, and let's see if I can show you. It's a nice curvature. You can barely tell. There we go. And I'm going to put up this last panel, and I think call it a day. See you in the next video. Hey guys, so just doing this sidewall here right now. Just a reminder, your studs, I know I keep saying this, they need to be 16 inches apart or less. In this case, I had to actually add, they're actually not called studs, they're called fire blocks. I had to add more fire blocks. They're a little bit less than 16 inches, and what I'd like to show you here is, because there's an angle, if you're going to be doing a shower like this, you will have quite a few angles, and I need to show you how to cut this angle. So you're going to take a tape measure, just pass the camera on here. All right, so you're going to take a tape measure. Can you see this right here? Okay, so there's a space here and there's no space here. So what we need to do is we need to measure the space from here to the board, which is a 1/2 inch. So what we need to do is come up here and go to a 1/2 inch. Oh, that happens a lot. We need to mark a 1/2 inch at the top of this board, which is going to be right at this line, which makes it a little easy. Then I'm going to show you how to cut it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take a ruler or something straight, piece of wood. You're going to mark from this mark all the way to the corner here as much as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're going to take a giant triangle off of this piece. You might have some pieces left over from the blade bending, so you just come back and lightly slice it off. And try not to cut your fingers off. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put it back. And you can see here that the margins are close enough. And that's pretty much it. Now I have to cut this piece off and screw it down. I hope this was helpful. See you in the next video. Okay guys, so I'm about to cut the shower pan, the Kerdi Schluter shower pan, and I recommend not only writing down on the floor, on your subfloor, the measurements going this way. In my case it's 20 7/8, 20 7/8, always measure multiple points, and then this is 31 3/4, 31 3/4, but you also have to make sure, are you perfectly center with your drain hole? So don't mistake that. So I've got other separate measurements from the wall here, which is 10 1/2, and from the wall to the center here, which is 16 1/4. So make sure that I first line up the hole. Once I have the markings for the hole, then I use this to go off of to make the square for the shower pan, because I guarantee you this is not perfect, and it needs to be. So anyway, alrighty. Kind of went back at it again tonight. I extended out this 2x3. I cut a 2x3 in half and I extended it. That's because there wasn't enough wood to attach to on the inside for the Kerdi board, which I haven't screwed down yet because I ran out of the Kerdi screws and washers. So I just went ahead and cut all the strips, and I just put a little temporary screw in to hold it, and you can see I've got it all the way on the inside, all the way up to the thinsulate, which that's all going to be covered up by walls. You'll see later I'm gonna put a strip of wood up here with the same curvature as this beam, so I can make the ceilings. And remember, this is for the that's the fan, and then that's the lights over here. So I just have to screw it in. I finished the step. It's a very tiny step. It's only 2 inches all the way around, which is the size of the 2x3, the width of the 2x3. and I have it just about perfect. And I'm gonna have to wrap this. Oh, and there's the Kerdi shower pan, which I actually had to recut because I didn't compensate for putting Kerdi board here. So I actually had to cut another, whatever it is, a little bit more than a 1/4 inch to make that work. And you can see the tank that we installed just a couple days ago. It's a close fit for a P-trap, and our P-trap actually froze up quite a bit up in the mountains, so I decided to go with a waterless P-trap. I'm not sure if I'm saying that the right way. I will let you know in the next video on that because it's very cool. It's like a balloon-like membrane that lets the water go through, and then once the water stops, it closes up. It's very interesting. So it's a waterless trap, and it's got really good reviews, and I expect it to be good. So anyway, so I'm going to screw this in tomorrow. I thought I was going to do some thin set and start putting in the Kerdi bands with the thin set on all the corners. Oh, and also you're going to need the corners. I'm not sure how many I need exactly right now, so I got quite a few and I'll return the rest. The inside corners. So you're going to need that. Definitely, you're going to need 2 packs. That's 4. So you're going to need 4 for the corners here. The Kerdi band will go on the corners there and go up and all of these different cracks and areas, and of course the areas where you can kind of see in, we're going to fill with thin set, and then we're going to put the Kerdi band over that with thin set. I'll show you how to do that in the next upcoming videos. Every crack has to be covered with a Kerdi band. So here I'm going to be putting thin set, and I'm going to wrap it around on this. So really for this shower, actually we're only going to use 4 corners because that's all I really have. The shower niche, you actually don't have to put the corners in, so it says it's already done and watertight. I'll see you in the next video, and we'll be working with thin set. Alright guys, this is the finished shower product here. I haven't put on the shower bands yet, which cover the screws and washers, which we have to do with thin set. I cut the piece and I cut it perfectly. Fits right in there just fine. What I want to do first is I want to put the strips across all the holes and across all the screws. And then I'm going to put thin set on the floor, and I'm going to put that down on it. I have to do this all in the same time, so I'm going to start high and I'm going to work low because you're not supposed to actually be walking too much on the shower pan. So it's recommended to start at the top, work your way down. Once you get finished, you put the shower pan in. I'll show you how to do it all in the next couple videos. Okay, it's another day, guys. We're prepping the surface right now. Just to let you know, this morning I went ahead and finished, I ran out of Kerdi screws, I think I said in the last video, so I had to go get some more screws and washers and finish screwing in. It's a little close when I do the video. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about that. So we're going to be using the Kerdi strip. It must be 2 inches away from a crack, so we'll have to do 2 strips. We'll start here, come this way. It'll overlap a little bit here, but we'll do another one from here all the way out. So you want to make sure that your surface is completely clean. It's recommended that you use a tile sponge, a wet tile sponge. Wipe off the surface, make sure your floor is clean. We're going to come back to the floor after we do thin set on the walls with the Kerdi bands, and then we're going to clean the floor with a sponge before putting thin set. But the floor we do last, because you don't want to walk on the floor. You're not supposed to, unless you're setting it with thin set and getting the drain ready. So we're going to do that last. So I'm going to show you how to apply the Kerdi strips with thin set. You also want to fill in these cracks and gaps with thin set with as much as possible. You want to cake it in, and then Then we're going to use a spatula to flatten out the Kerdi band. So I'll show you how to do that in the next coming videos here in just a moment. Another thing I forgot to say is that you want to use, if you're going to not use the Schluter thin set, which you don't have to, it's hard to find actually. I called Schluter company and asked them what I could use, and they said if you're going to Lowe's, get an uncoupling membrane mortar. This is an unmodified thin set is what this is. So anyway, if you're not going to use the recommended Schluter thin set, you're going to have to go with an unmodified thin set, and I would call the company if you can't find this one. Hey everybody, so we're about to do the Kerdi strips here, which are going to be 2-inch overlap of each screw. Or if you're going to do a joint right here, it needs to be 2 inches below, 2 inches above the joint. So we went ahead and mixed some. We didn't mix a full 50-pound bag. We did some math and we did a quarter of that. It needs to be the consistency of peanut butter, or easy spread peanut butter. You're going to use a trowel. There's not really much of a science to it. You just want to spread it on thick. It's going to drop everywhere, which is okay. You can clean it up later. I'm by no means a professional tile installer, so if you're a professional tile installer, don't make fun of my job here. So I'll clean up that mess later on the floor. We're going to take the Kerdi band, and there's a reason why we have 2 of these, but we'll talk about that later. That's for the joints. You have to hold, when we do the joints here, you have to hold it in the middle while you pull outward to get rid of the thin set. So we're going to go ahead and press the Kerdi strip on. We can actually use that to hold it on. And the goal is to get all the thin set that you put in there out. And we'll just put it back in the bucket. pulled a little bit to the right there, so I'm just going to cut that strip off. That's pretty much it. I'm sure I'll get better at it. That's the first time I've done it with this Schluter band stuff. I'm just going to keep at it, and that's pretty much it. Hey guys, so this is how far I've gotten so far. It's taken me a couple hours. I told you something wrong in the last video, and that is you should use a spatula to put the thin set on first, and then use the trowel. I'm not sure exactly why, but it does seem to work better. Okay guys, so just to show you here, on this side I just completed this strip all the way down, and I'm working on this side here, which I just use a spatula to put it on. Use the trowel to notch it all the way down on both sides without taking too much of the thin set out. You push one side in and you pull. That's it. All the way down. It's time consuming. See you in the next video. Okay guys, so I've got all my corners in all the way up. I'm going to do another wrap around here. Haven't done the step yet. I just troweled out my flooring, and I'm going to put the subfloor in, and then I'm going to walk on it gently to press it down, and then I'm going to save the rest for tomorrow, where I have to overlap the steps and watertight the walls with the shower pan. Okay, alright, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Hey guys, so I'm going to finish up this install. You're going to need inside corners. You'll need 4. And then you'll need outside corners. I'm using 4 because I'm going to go ahead and seal, obviously, all these corners. So, an uncut version of the outside corner looks like this. And I'm using it with the flap down. I think you get the idea. So you'll need 4 if you're following this as a guideline. You'll also need strips, Kerdi strips for this portion. You're supposed to fill in all the gaps and make sure that there's actually extra thin set in the corners, and then of course you'll scrape it out just like all the other strips that I did. Then we're going to work on this, which I ran out of thin set last night and decided to stop, so I cleaned it up. So you want to put a nice amount of thin set. You'll push it down firmly all the way while doing a twisting motion. Thin set will come out of here, and then you want to have a nice layer of thin set in this whole bowl region. Then you're going to put the ring on. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. There's a lot of Schluter installation videos. I recommend that you watch them. I did. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what it looks like installed in a van. I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, so I'm done with the shower waterproofing. I'm going to cut this with a razor blade once it's fully dried and cured all the way down. It looks like that there's missing thin set in these places, but it's really not. It just didn't color for some reason. That's what the flange looks like when it's installed. And because you have to do a 2-inch overlap, I didn't do enough of a long piece here, and it meets too closely, so I had to do a flap here. But all the corners are waterproofed, all 4 corners. There are corners underneath those long strips and in here. and there's outside corners here underneath these long strips. So I hope this guide was helpful. I advise you to look at the Schluter website on how to install this for the proper trowel size and how to do it. See you in the next one.